So I'm set up a little bit differently today, which is why I'm a little bit late. Sorry. But okay, today I needed the yardstick. Today we are selling some artwork. Yes. From my studio. And I'm going to go ahead and like pin the link to my online gallery so that if there's any pieces that you see today and you're like, I want to buy it, you can just go ahead and order it. So I don't know why it's a little bit dark. I'm going to turn on the overhead light just a little bit and see if that helps. I think that's going to help. Okay, yeah, I think that's helping. But yeah, so today we're going to be selling some artwork, talking about some pieces. I have a lot of art in my studio right now, and I think like I've been getting this suggestion, oh, have you thought about doing like a live auction type of thing? And you know, I pondered, I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, why haven't I done that? And I think it's because sometimes selling art can be like scary, especially, you know, just doing it online. So I'm trying something new. I'm trying something new today, and we're gonna see how it goes. But before I do that, I am going to, like I said, pin where you can order my artwork. LOL. Now I can hear myself. But yeah, so let me put the gallery site on to the chat so that way if you see anything and you're like, I love that, I need it, I want to order it now, you can just order it. But let me pull that up. Let me pull that up. I feel like I switched to the jazz because I don't know, I'm feeling in a jazzy mood. Like I'm feeling in a, I don't know, like there's just something about this season when it starts to get a bit moody. I might break out into song, y'all. Listen. Okay, so here I've pinned the, what's it called? I'm pinning the online gallery so that way y'all can like purchase everything that I talk about from my studio. We're gonna just take our time and really just go through some of these pieces that I have. So all of my pieces are limited edition and I do print them to order. So everything that I have in my studio right now, these are just honestly pieces that I've exhibited. Maybe they were like the display pieces. I have some of my originals. I don't put my originals on my site just because I'm gonna get into that a little bit later as to like why I don't. But yeah, I mostly sell my prints, and then I'd say like my originals are for more serious collectors in a way, because like for example, I think this one is around 10 or 12K, and then like my much larger pieces, like I'll show you my much larger, oh, also like something like this that is like just really tall, really massive, that's like 14K. So I know that my larger originals, I typically just kind of save those for galleries or like corporate buyers. But hey man, if you're a serious collector and you're like, I wanna buy from an emerging young African artist, they are available. But I'm gonna show you guys some of the prints, but I haven't, oh, hi Boma. So I'm like really excited to get started, but I do want to go ahead and light some incense. Although I was in the middle of pinning the gallery site. Shop the art here is what I shall put. Okay. So now y'all have it. But yeah, we're gonna set an intention for today. I think that today's intention is going to be, intention is going to be cultivating gratitude. I think, yeah, gratitude. Because, and I feel like we've talked about gratitude in past lives, but I don't know, today as I share my work from my gallery and everything, and like I sit here in this studio that I didn't have at one point, and like I'm looking around me and I'm like, wow, I have so much artwork. Like I actually have artwork that I created that I can sell, that can go to people. I'm grateful for that. And it's like, yeah, even though, you know, obviously there's things that I want to do with my artwork that I'm still gearing up to do, I'm still grateful. And so, yeah, I definitely want to set that intention of gratitude, because I do think that art, especially having Black art, having African art, as people who we've gone through so much in our collective histories, and I think the ability to still be able to say, you know what, my life gets to be beautiful. My life, I get to have joy and I get to have abundance in my life as represented through art or through anything. But like, you know, for me, definitely art reminds me of this. Yeah, I feel like gratitude is just the frequency. So that is today's intention. I'm gonna put this here. Okay. So I did say that I was going to talk about my art today and just sell it and see, you know, who wants to get what. But I have not done anything like this before, like virtually. Usually when I'm selling my artwork, I'm like, oh, not my socks are like looking crazy. Usually when I am selling my artwork, it's at gallery shows or it's like at an event or something. Sorry, the music got really loud. So I'm just like, okay, how do I go about doing this virtually? And people have been asking me, so I'm like, you know what, let me just bring out select pieces, I guess, and then just talk about them and go from there. But so I want to talk about this piece first. It's quite large. I'm trying to get it into the frame, but that's what I'm saying, like my originals are just a lot more, they just have a lot more going on than the prints. But I do want to talk about some of my premium pieces first. So I hope this is like, for the most part, in the frame. Kind of. Now I'm kind of not in the frame, but it's okay. I think it's fine. So this piece is called Timoshi, and it is one of my favorite pieces. It's also a hit. Like, it's been in a couple of shows, and I'm like, you know, I really want to sell this piece, but I also know it has to go to the perfect collector. Someone who really understands the energy behind it. And for me, when I named it Timoshi, it was because I was thinking about the traditional marital rights from the Ishikiri people. And that's what Timoshi is. And so even when you look at like the attire that the couple is wearing, it's very much so influenced by the weddings I grew up seeing. So like I grew up seeing a lot of Edo weddings, like a couple of Ishikiri weddings like I've been to, and I think also being in the diaspora, being an artist in the diaspora more specifically, but yeah, just like also being in the diaspora in general, I think that it's been through the art, it's been through like the weddings and the food and the culture that I experience elements of my identity. And so also I want to like put this down here and see if y'all can still see it. So I feel like a piece like this, for me, it represents like some of my favorite parts of my culture. And it is quite large, like, so you're kind of seeing like, yeah, I'm 5'5.5", and so this is like how tall it is. So it does take up a lot of wall space. But yeah, another thing that I was thinking about when I made this piece, which, like I said, quite large, was the union between the divine feminine and the divine masculine. Sorry, all of the incense is like burning. But yeah, the union between the divine feminine and the divine masculine. I think I was also wanting to paint more depictions of love and intimacy and romance and like romantic partnership and just like, yeah, love. And I think like I got the idea to start being more intentional about that from this movie called The Secret. And so The Secret is this movie and it talks a lot about like, you know, the law of attraction, the law of assumption and things like that. And for me, I do believe in the law of attraction. I do believe in the power of our thoughts and our energy and our frequency to attract and magnetize opportunities. Like I see this all the time in my life, like when it comes to manifesting, just like from a spiritual angle. Like I know there have been times where I've literally thought about something or I've like visualized things and then it just comes into my life. And so I was watching this movie and there was a painter who wanted to attract more love into his life. And so he started painting, or he was advised to start painting more couples. And because he was always like painting people alone, he was always alone. Or like there was like, you know, kind of a linkage between what he was surrounding, like the imagery he was surrounding himself with and that he was creating and like what he was experiencing. So I thought about it. I said, I do want to attract, you know, a real type of love, like a deeper type of intimacy, of passion, of romance, like real like soulmates, you know, type energy. And I was like, I've never thought to paint what that would look like for me. And so that's when I sat down and I was like, let me paint this. And I added a 3D element. I made sure like the artwork represented my idea of love, like my cultural perspective of what that is. Because we have our traditional weddings in my culture, and Tamoshi, like I literally have a book on it. But like it's very traditional in the sense that like marriage for us, it encompasses your families and your culture and your ethnic group. Like it's a whole thing. And so I felt like for me, love is not only just representative of like me and one individual person having feelings for each other. I think it is also representative of like building something that is greater than us and that like unites two different families, two different lineages. Like it's something very powerful. And like we also see that in nature, like when the divine feminine and the divine masculine come together in nature, it blooms into like these beautiful gardens, into the trees we see. So like I really wanted to incorporate more of that natural element. Sorry, this thing is like kind of heavy, so I'm like trying to keep it still, but it's quite large, so I have to like put it on top of my stool for y'all to see it. But yeah, I do. So this piece is available. It's available for purchase. And while my larger originals are not on my website, if you're interested, you can email me or email my company at team@AlaereLifestyle.com. So yeah, this piece is around, I have to double check my list sheet, but I want to say this piece is around 10K. So I've been like thinking like, okay, who would probably be on like a gallery? I would love for it to be in like a, you know, like a African art museum or something somewhere. Like that's why with my originals, I'm like, you know what? I'm okay exhibiting them like occasionally or like, I don't know. I think that these pieces have a lot of energy packed into them and they will go to where they are supposed to go. But I do pray that, you know, whoever becomes a collector of this piece, they're able to attract more love and more passion and intimacy and romance into their lives. So okay, so this one is called Tamoshi. Like I said, I think I need to double check I'm looking here to see if I wrote down how big it is. because I know that bigger one is like 40 by 60, 40 something by 60. So I feel like this might be, I don't even know. I know it's like at least 40 something by something. But yeah, so that's one of my originals. If you are enjoying this, make sure you subscribe. I do go live every weekday from my studio at 3 p.m. I probably should also introduce myself. My name is Odemi Pesu. I'm an artist and a fashion designer. And so I sell my original artwork and my fashion designs. I'm currently creating or expanding my wearable art line. So these are a pair of jeans that I hand painted. So I will be selling more products like that. But yeah, the best way to keep up with me and like what I'm doing is to subscribe to Alaere Lifestyle on YouTube. And what else? Yeah, I just have like a lot of exciting things coming up. So let's take a quick break from talking about the art, and then I'll talk about this piece next. Oh, the reflection though. Yeah, I will be talking about this piece next, but I want to pop a squat real quick and just share some things that are taking place, and also share a little bit from my book, which I said I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start doing more of that. Okay, so wow, I feel like I was chatting for a hot second. I really do love this painting behind me, and so I think that yeah, like talking more about my artwork on a consistent basis. This is so new to me. It makes me nervous sometimes until I was watching this video yesterday, just giving advice to artists and professional artists who, you know, do this for a living and like want to sell their artwork, because I do understand that not all artists want to sell, but this is my job. And so, yeah, like she was just talking about how you have to get more comfortable intentionally selling. So that's what I'm doing. And I've had people say like, oh, you should do like a live selling or like live auction type of thing. And so this is the first time I'm doing it. Let's see how it goes. But I'm also an author. So this is my book, Force of Nature, by Odemi Pesu. And that's me. I'm Odemi Pesu. And so I think that like it's important for me to incorporate some poetry from my book, because this book did start at all. Like I literally have this artwork that I created for the cover. I have it right here, and that's also a piece that you can buy on my gallery online. So yeah, like I'm working towards getting a physical space so that I can like have the artwork, have, you know, the wearable art, have everything like on display in real life, but you know, slowly but surely. So I'm going to read from my book, but let me actually share a little bit about like what the book is about. So I'm going to read to you what my lovely editor wrote on the back so you can know what the book is about, because all of the themes in this book are reflected in the artwork that I create. So yeah. Okay, so it says, what is divine feminine energy and how can we channel it? Force of Nature explores this question through the lens of an African woman grappling with childhood, womanhood, cultural identity, and the societal issues that disproportionately affect women. This poetry collection parallels African women to nature itself, forces that can neither be confined nor defined. In a world where African women are subjected to societal expectations and forced to sequester their complexities, Odemi Pesu pushes back with love, light, and vulnerability. With lyrical lines, heartfelt verse, and tributes to social justice leaders, Pesu lets us into all elements of her life, from romance and depression to self-harm and overcoming colonialism. Yet, through the trials and tribulations, she perseveres and relays the message that women must take ownership of their narratives. Force of Nature captures not only the inspiring journey of one woman, but the collective experience of women fighting to honor their emotions, dreams, and agencies, authentically and unabashedly. So yeah, that is this book. here. And so I just wanted to like share a little bit about this, because basically everything I was saying here about, like, you know, women being subjugated under patriarchal pressures and like cultural expectations, and just a lot of energy that tries to like position us as second class citizens. I think the way that I'm able to resist against that is with my own sovereign expression of self and my own sovereign expression of what it means to be an African woman. I get to be joyful, I get to be happy, I get to dance and play, and I get to, you know, prioritize my pleasure. And that doesn't make me bad, that doesn't make me wicked or whatever, you know, society likes to call women who pour into their passions and their dreams. And I think a way that I was able to do that most prominently for the first time for real in my life was through publishing this book. And then that blossomed into me making all this artwork that I have around me. And that's what led me to create my first collection of prints. It was literally all from here. And so yeah, like I will pause and read a poem or two from this, but I want to get back to the artwork because that is the point of today's video. Okay, so this is the second piece that we're going to talk about today. I honestly should have brought my my easel. Like, I left it downstairs, but it's okay. As long as the like reflection isn't altering how you can see it. I'm probably a little bit out of the frame though, so let me move over just a little bit. Okay, I hope you guys are enjoying this. I guess like maybe it would help if I could, let me see, let me adjust some things right here so that way when people come in they can know exactly what is happening. But yeah, so we're gonna see the reflection. I'm about to talk about this piece here. It's called She's Royal. But okay, let me update one thing. Okay, but I've put in the chat where it's pinned, the pinned comment. That's the website, that's my company website where you can purchase all of my artwork. Okay, so this one is called She's Royal, and we've talked about this piece on my live before, but just not like recently. But it is available for purchase. So all of the prints are limited edition and there are only 50 of each print. I wanted to like make it accessible but still maintain a sense of exclusivity, because I don't want anything I create to be like mass produced per se, but I also do want enough people to be able to experience the healing and the beauty and the joy and the magic of my artwork. So yeah, this is a piece that actually now I'm like, oh, I feel like the music is too loud. Every now and then I'm like, oh my gosh, should I turn it up for the ambiance? But then it starts yelling. Okay, so as I was saying, this piece is from the same collection as Force of Nature, the artwork on my book. And if you're interested in this piece, it is on my website. So this is called She's Royal. Let me let you guys get a good look. Okay, so one thing I love about this piece is that it presents the African woman as this sovereign, regal, beautiful entity, you know? And like, I think sometimes what annoys me just a little bit about like seeing how women are presented in the male dominated African art scene, a lot of it is like kind of sexual, I'm not gonna lie. And you can always kind of tell when a woman is painted or drawn from the male gaze. And so I think for me, I wanted to challenge that a little bit and draw a woman, an African woman, as I see her, and in a way that I felt like was more reflective of me and the woman I'm surrounded with, like, or surrounded by. So, like, even like the composition and everything, I feel like I call a lot of my artwork very hyper feminine. Like, I like to use a lot of pinks, a lot of lilacs, a lot of pastels, because I do think that, like, sometimes what I see in the Western portrayal of African art, especially, modern African art, is it can be so dark. And, like, I think that Africa is such a vibrant place. The African diaspora is filled with so many vibrant cultures that have expanded and evolved in their own ways. I mean, we can look at, like, even something like an exhibition like the one that's currently on at the Tate Modern, where it's apparently like the largest exhibition, curated exhibition of modern African art, specifically from Nigeria. Like, I think like we're seeing more of this appreciation of the range of what African art can be and what it can look like. And so I think for me, as a contemporary African woman artist, I owe it to myself to paint who I am, what I see, and how I feel, and not necessarily how I'm expected to portray myself. Like, I hope that makes sense. Sure, guys. I hope you guys are understanding what I'm saying. But yeah, like, I mean, I think that, like, with artwork, it's always that question of, especially as a Black artist, as a woman artist, like, as an artist that has certain identities, and then I'm first gen. And so, like, there's all of these types of intersectional pieces of my identity that I think come out in my artwork, and they come out in my decision to use hyper feminine color compositions, and like to depict women not in this like super serious way, but like we can be fun, we can be playful, we can be joyful, we can be sovereign, and I think for me it kind of deviates a bit from a lot of like the male gaze oriented artwork that I've seen of African women. Or I always like sometimes will see art of African women where they're like exerting labor. Like, it's never just fun. Like, they look so serious. Just so serious. And so I think like in a lot of my earlier collections, like with this one, I wanted to evoke a sensual essence of play and pleasure, of joy, of fun. Like, that's like what, I mean, you can kind of see it like in a lot of the colors I like to use to paint. Like, they're very earthy, but it makes me think of like earthy in a way where, and this is where I think some of like my astrological signs come out, because I am an air sign, a Libra, moon and sun, but I am a Taurus rising. And like, I think like with Taurus energy, it has that earthy energy. And so I definitely think that comes out in my composition. But like, I think in terms of the color choice, sometimes I want it to feel like the feeling of, like when the sun is setting. And I don't know if it's like this in every part of the world, but like when the sun is setting in late summer, and I don't know, everything just feels so beautiful and so peaceful. Like, that energy is kind of like what I try to put into my artwork. Like the energy of your favorite sunrise, the energy of your favorite sunset. Like, I don't know, just like this presence and this gratitude, and then this also like deep spiritual connection to divine feminine energy. Because I think that's a lot of what we feel, like a lot of the healing essence that we get when we spend time in nature. I do try to put that into my artwork as well. So like, you'll see round motifs that are kind of like a moon, sun, celestial type of symbolism. So yeah, this piece right here that I'm holding is 24 by 36, and it is framed. And so like I said, all pieces or all of my artwork, all of the prints are in limited editions of 50. And once the 50 is gone, it's gone. So, of course, like I want to sell everything, like, because there's so much new artwork that I have been working on. I want to like explore more. Um, I don't know, like there's a couple of things. I want to explore more portraiture and like working with negative space and a more like minimalist palette. Even though I would say this is like still a modern and minimalist artwork, I, I'll show y'all better than I could tell you, to be quite honest. But because of that, I'm like, okay, I want to sell all of the artwork that I already have. So this piece is still available on my website. If you check out, if you want to buy this, it is called She's Royal. And you're like, I need this in my house. I need this in my home, office, anywhere, whatever. And you're like, I need to buy this piece. It is available. It's called She's Royal. And if you check out the link that I've pinned in the chat, you will be able to buy it. So yeah. Okay, so a lot of chatting, but yeah, like I really do think that African artwork right now in the zeitgeist, like the cultural zeitgeist and just everything we're seeing a lot of great musicians and artists. Oh my gosh, this incense. I feel like I'm trying to talk to y'all and it's just like but yeah, I feel like we've been unfortunately seeing a lot of great artists and musicians who really highlighted Black consciousness in their work. We're seeing a lot of them pass, and it's just really sad to see, but I think it also is like a call to action for artists right now, Black artists, visual artists, painters, musicians, writers, lyricists, all of that. Like I do think it is a call to action to like step up and say something with our artwork. And I do believe in artwork for artwork's sake, like just beauty for beauty's sake, I think matters too. Like I don't think everything has to like say this intense political, message. However, I do think that Black art, sorry, I'm a little sniffly, is a little, or not a little, I think that Black art is tremendously politicized, and sometimes that can be annoying. It can put a lot of pressure on Black artists because it's just like, I just want to say like what I want to say. But I think it kind of reminds me of one of my favorite poems by Nikki Giovanni, where she's talking about like being a natural woman, doing what a woman does when she's natural, doing that she would have a revolution. And I do think that like in creating artwork that is very feminine and like playful and high vibrational and that centers the frequency of love, like I'm painting love and I'm painting joy and I'm painting bliss and I'm painting pleasure and like sovereignty. I think that while it is a statement for myself, it's something that when positioned in the general archive, it can make a difference. So yeah. Oh gosh, okay. I'm going to move this because it's actually annoying me. It's like making me sniffle. But okay, so I'm going to show you guys a couple more pieces. Let me do a time check. Okay, we're doing some good time. Okay, I feel like my sniffles are going away right now. Okay, so let's see. The next piece I want to show you guys, I think I'll show you guys one of my more abstract pieces because there's a lot of attention right now on like abstract art. So heads up though, this piece is from my Elements collection, and I have a few like in this format. So this is no longer, how do I put it, like in this exact format where I had the mat around it, the mat border, that is no longer available. Like I had a collection where I put my signature on the automatic mat, But then I realized I actually prefer the prints filling up the entire frame without the matte. And so like if someone does want to add the matte border, they are free to do so. I just decided I don't want that to be like how I sell the prints. So this is from more of like an abstract, a super duper abstract collection of mine. And I really love, okay, hold on. I don't want the reflection. Okay, let me sit like this. Yeah, so I really actually love this collection, and I still have some of the other pieces from this collection in my studio, but they're rolled and they're not framed. Oh wait, let me check into the chat. Rahul says, hello, you beautiful girl. Hi. Hello, Rahul. Today I am selling my artwork, so I'm talking about pieces I have in my studio, and you can shop all of the artwork at the website I have pinned in the chat. And yeah, so right now I'm talking about a piece called Desire. I created this piece with alcohol inks and like all of my limited edition prints. There's only 50 available in like of each print. And so I think I said that this piece right here is the 24 by 36. So in comparison, this is the, I'm gonna say this is the 18 by 24, right? Hold on, let me see. Yeah, this is the 18 by 24. And so it's like, it's definitely a little bit smaller than the 24 by 36, which I think makes like a larger statement. But I feel like this piece, if you live in like a smaller space, or like you want to bring something bold into, like, let's say you live in a studio or like a 1-bedroom or like a loft or something, and you don't want something as ginormous as this, which like it does take up a little bit of space, then I feel like this could be the statement piece that you can use to bring some color, some vibrance into your atmosphere. Okay, so Rahul says, how are you, dear? I'm well, I'm doing well. How are you? Also, don't forget to like the live. Don't forget to like it. But yeah, I'm doing well. You know, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be alive, to be an artist, and I'm happy to like try new things. You know, I was just talking about this earlier. Oh, you said same here also. Okay, yay, I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, like I just feel like talking about my art and consciously selling it and saying, hey, you can buy this. Like, I'm just getting more comfortable doing that and realizing that I have the power in my hands to do so. I don't have to necessarily wait to like work with galleries or work with XYZ. Like, I think e-commerce and social media has definitely changed the collector space. So this is my way of just trying to like more directly engage with active art collectors who want to buy work from emerging artists. So yeah, but if you're enjoying this, you know, the best way that you can support me besides buying my artwork is by subscribing. And if you really, you know, love art, spirituality, like African spirituality, and like, you know, wearable art fashion, then I think you will enjoy it here. Okay, Rahul says, I am at work in my workplace. What do you do for work, Rahul? I'm at work too. This is like, wow, this is actually my job. Sometimes I think about that and I'm like, wow. But anyways, okay, so back to this piece here. This is 18 by 24 framed. Now, like I said, this exact format is no longer available, but I think it's like what is available now is actually better because I took away the mat. Now, if you want to buy this like version, you can, and I will ship this to you, but just know that like if you are interested in buying this art print, it's a Giclée archival ink print, which means that it will last, like it's museum quality. And like I work with the printing studio that is pretty meticulous about like the inks that they use to print. And so I also recently just found a new framing studio to work with. So they are like, it's still outsourcing. I can't wait till I have like my fulfillment in house, but I don't have a big ass printer to be printing, you know, archival ink, print quality, like all of that. So I'm gonna have to just outsource for now. But like I will be able to offer more framing options. Ideally by the time the holidays roll around, like I I need to like meet with the framing people in person. But like I applied to be part of their artist something 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 program. So I'm like, okay, I'm accepted now, so now I'm just trying to see like the cost essentially of switching to their framing, because I do like the like plain black frames that I currently offer. And so when you do buy the framed versions of my prints from my online gallery, it is shipped framed, but you know there is also the option to buy the prints unframed. But yeah, I feel like having just black is kind of boring. I want to have like more ornate gold and all of that stuff. So, okay, I'm reading the chat. Rahul says, I am production in charge in Tata Steel. Okay. Okay, production. So you work in production. Cool. Yeah, so Rahul, if you're interested and you love this artwork, you should buy it. But yeah, also if you want to see like any of my other pieces, they are on my website. Actually, like I can just pull up and show you guys what I mean. Painting is very beautiful like you. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so yeah, this is like more of my more abstract work when I use alcohol inks and stuff. And so I feel like I show a lot of my like figurative abstract work, but I feel like, oops, before I show you guys my website, I feel like my pieces still all complement each other, if that makes sense. Like if you were to fill up your house with my artwork, it would all still be pretty cohesive, even if it's different styles. Like I would say this style is more like abstract expressionist, and that other style is more of like a fluid cubism type of thing, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm about to show you guys my website and where you guys can go to buy all of my artwork. Raffle says, wow, wonderful. Thank you. Thanks. If y'all are enjoying me talking about my artwork, selling it to y'all, and you want to also stay abreast of, you know, what are the upcoming developments. I have also been painting my wearable art live. Let me show you guys. I have my fuzzy socks on. So I'm not trying to show like up into the socks. But yeah, so this is a pair of jeans from Abercrombie that I painted. And currently I'm painting another jacket. It's going. It's going. I like tried something and then I didn't like it, so I'm still like working on it, but I'll be transparent. I'll show it to you guys. I just like I'm going to be changing a lot of stuff on this, but it is. Okay. So, yeah, I need to like I tried something on the face. I don't really like it, but I like the hair. But I'm thinking I might like paint all over the face again and try something else. Okay, so yeah. But yeah, back to this piece. This is called desire. And if you want to buy the artwork, you can do so in my website. Okay, so I want to show you guys another one of my more like premium originals. Okay, so I also really, oops, I also really like this piece a lot. So this one, I think like was one of like the earlier pieces that I created. But yeah, I really like this piece as well. And I feel like a reason why I am into just painting depictions of Mother Earth and of nature, and why I think it's important to do so, is because I don't think we have enough appreciation of the world that we live in. And also, this reminds me of a scene that I would see every single day when I was in Del Mar. For a couple of months, I was just like always going to the beach, and I would sit by this garden area and watch the surfers from like overhead, and it was just so beautiful. So here's like a close-up look. So yeah, so this is called We're All Stardust, and this is one of my originals. I'd have to check my line sheet. So I know if this one is like 10K, then I think this one should be like around 7 or something. But yeah, so I usually showcase the originals in a more like gallery environment. I took them off of my website because I feel like it's just more accessible to sell the prints and stuff like that. And then I can save these for more of like a corporate clientele or galleries. However, if you are a private collector and you do want to buy one of my originals, that doesn't mean that you can't. You can, but you can just email me, or you like use the contact form on my website. Okay, so yeah, I guess like I should also show you guys some pieces that I have in the works. But wait, let me check into the live. Let me see what is happening on the chat. But yeah, so like I said, today is definitely a little bit different in style because people have suggested I go live and like do more of like a live auction type of thing. And so as I continue building my audience and stuff and like getting more comfortable going on live, I think that it just gives me room to like try different things. But let me show you guys what my website is, and so that way you can know what to expect. Raffle says no one is there in live. Listen, there's the people who need to be here are here, okay? Period. The people who are meant to be here are here. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. If you want more people here, you know what you could do? Go and tell them to join. Go and tell them to join the live. But me, I'm going to still come. I'm going to show up. I'm going to be myself and be happy and share my art. Like, I feel like there's something like, this is the second time that, not coming for you, Raffle, but I feel like it's very interesting on the internet where people will see someone trying something or doing something. Actually, let me rant real quick. People will see artists putting themselves out there, like showing up, discipline, just like, because it takes a lot. Like, even though it's only 4 people right here, and I value every single person who is on my live right now, may God bless you, because you're playing a role in getting me closer to my dreams. And like when my art is in galleries and museums, all of this, like you guys will be people who I'm like, you know what? You know who supported me early? It was these people here. So thank you. But like I think like my thing about comments like this, like, oh, no one is there in live, or even yesterday somebody was like, why aren't you married? Like, let's pause real quick. If your instinct is to see somebody like putting themselves out there, showing up, disciplined, like really having faith in themselves, your first instinct, I think it's weird for the first instinct to be to say something to kind of like poke a hole in the happiness of that person or like try to bring them down. And I do think, I handle these kind of situations with grace for sure. But even though I keep it classy, does not mean I'm not going to say something. Like, I'm still gonna say something. So yeah, like I'm gonna keep showing up every day. Some days maybe 100 people will watch. Some days 50 people will watch. Some days I've had a 600 people day like on live. You know what I'm saying? But I always pray that God will speak through me. God will use my story to inspire people. I always pray that God will use my art and like the messages that I have put into my art, into my book, whether it's my vibe, my own story. Like I always pray that God will use that to touch or inspire somebody else and bring a sense of like happiness and joy to them. Like that's always the point. So yes, Rahul, to answer you, no one is there in life. If you feel that way, if you feel that you are no one, because I don't see you as such. I think everybody that is here on live, like with me, I value every single person here. So that's how I feel. Okay, but anyway, Shah, like this is my website. So if you guys go, this is where you can, also you can sign up for the newsletter. When you do, you get 10% off of your first order. And so yeah, like I just show some of my pieces, and yeah, it's like a pretty straightforward website. I will be adding more things as well. But yeah, like I mean, I'm just excited because I'm launching my magazine, I'm doing all of this stuff. Hey Amira! Thanks for joining. I don't know when you joined. I don't know if you joined after my little rant or before or after, but it's good to have you here. So I'm about to take a quick break because I've been talking so far. I've talked about like 4 works of art, but I was just talking about how people will see artists doing things and like showing up every day, because obviously you're not gonna just like start and then boom, 10K, boom, 100 people. Like I think it's a slowly but surely type of thing, and I'm like not one of those people who gets embarrassed if people see me trying, because the same way you see me trying is the same way you're gonna see me winning. Like the only difference is that like I think on social media trying is very public, and so people do have to see when it's like, oh my god, it's 10 people, it's this, it's that. Okay, Amira says, LOL, I was here, happy to be here. Thank you. I'm happy to have you here too. Okay, so I did mention earlier that I would be incorporating more of my poetry for my book into the lives. Actually, I mentioned this earlier and I also made a short about it. But yeah, basically, I'm also trying to sell the book too. But I will read y'all some of the actual reviews from the book. So I'm not just saying that this book will change your life. People can vouch and say yes. And these were not paid reviews. Please, I beg. That's not in my budget. Yeah, I would never pay people to review my stuff. But these were people who read the book and really enjoyed it. So I just want to like share some of that, and then also share a poem from the book. But yeah, I'm like currently really excited because I'm launching my magazine tomorrow. So that's gonna be fun. And I'm just like ready to like put the first issue out, because I feel like there was a lot of accidental procrastination. And, you know, I want to have a publication that I can share with you guys while I still work on my second book. And so, yeah. But, anyways, this is what one person had to say. Ivy823 on Amazon said that my book, Force of Nature, was intimate, powerful, spiritual, a journey of self discovery through all that life has to offer. This is in bold, okay? So, yes, they went on to say, I found myself thoroughly engaged throughout reading Force of Nature due to the beautiful, diverse imagery while shining light on such vulnerable experiences we encounter as humans in this life. Due to the raw, vivid language and subject matter present in the book, I felt that I could deeply empathize and relate, especially to the idea of finding yourself through the ups and downs of life. Because certain passages touched me in such a way, I found myself rereading others to understand better. I was grateful to experience this art, and due to the authenticity and vulnerability present in the book, I hope that many others can read this to help get closer to their spirit. I will be on the lookout for more work from this author. Oh, I love to see it. That actually made me so happy just like reading that out loud. But yeah, like as I read before, Force of Nature captures not only the inspiring journey of one woman, but the collective experience of women fighting to honor their emotions, dreams, and agencies authentically and unabashedly. And I feel like my book is very important where we are right now because we're seeing an attack on mental sovereignty, financial stability of women, like all of a sudden. And also I think it's like interesting because a lot of people will say, oh, women shouldn't work, they need to be at home. Domestic labor is also labor. Like women don't just stop working just because they leave a corporate environment. Women who are mothers and wives are still doing domestic labor. So yeah, quick aside there. But yeah, like I just feel like my book could help people who, especially, you know, young women across the African diaspora who are feeling very confused by where the world is going and just a lot of the messages that are being pushed to young women about what we can be, who we can be. And yeah, like I just feel like my book was pretty much a spiritual coming of age story. But I'm trying to like find a poem to read for today. I think that I'm going to read from the When chapter, which is the last chapter. And so I'm going to read a poem called Art because today we are talking about art. And just to let you know, the next piece, actually, wait, low key. So because this is the next piece I'm going to be talking about and selling in today's live selling stream, whatever I want to call it. Let's see, live selling stream, live selling show. I like live selling show. Okay, but yeah, I'm going to talk about this one, but I actually have a poem that has the same title as this piece, and it's called Rivers Girl. So low key, I feel like I should read that instead. Okay. Had to like put on some jazzy tunes. But Rivers Girl, that's actually in a very different chapter. I think I bookmarked it. Okay, yes. Found her. Okay, so this is actually in the Fire chapter, which is a very different vibe from the last chapter, which is When. But I'll take y'all through the chapters real quick, and then we'll talk about this. So this piece is called Rivers Girl, and I'm about to read the poem Rivers Girl. And so you know how I also mentioned that like this artwork on my book inspired like my first collection of artwork? This was part of that first collection. So you can kind of see like the similar motifs. There was a lot of water, like celestial symbols like the sun, moon, that type of thing. And I think, it all ties back to us being spiritually connected to all there is and all that is in this universe. And then also just like having, even like in this painting, we're all stardust, like speaking to that universal consciousness. Like we are all made of the same material, the same like powerful God consciousness and everything. So anyway, Sha, this poem, Rivers Girl, is in my fire chapter, which is that which emboldens us. So I feel like I should have let me see if I can like have it right here as I read. Okay, I think I'll do that so you guys can see the imagery. I also want to make sure that there's not like all of these reflections. Okay, so I'm reading Rivers Girl, and this is the artwork that was inspired by this poem, which you can buy this artwork at my website, www.AlaereLifestyle.com. Okay, with that being said, so this is what I wrote on page 88 of Force of Nature. In times of discontent, oh, also by the way, this is called Rivers Girl. I know, I already said it. In times of discontent, I come to the fertile soils of conquered lands, dripping in liquid gold, and I ask, what does it mean for me to call captured pastures home? Can I find freedom as a sailor, conquering seas of my own, and finding solace in the icy opinions of waters who know truths as much as they know lies, bearing witness to abduction, carrying love letters in bottles that will never drown? I find refuge in the lethargic stretches of cobalt waves, dancing towards a molten sunset out of reach. Do they abide by the moon's wishes, or do they meander without direction, in search of bare skin, just something warm at last to offset the winter's cold? I sit here watching them scurry back and forth, and I marvel at how the movement of the air touches us differently. Indigo ripples become ardent tsunamis while the hair on my neck stands still. As I feel tender kisses amidst imminent storms, I am at home in the wilderness and relaxed by her chaotic unknown. As temperature changes forebode a setting sun, I can't bring myself to leave. Even obscured by evening shadow, my sailor heart beats on. Canoes no longer wait in the distance to receive my prayers for protection. I shout my desires into earth's abyss and hope she hears me and hope she bothers to listen. The sea rebels in resistance. She comes and goes just as she pleases, and perhaps it is for this reason we are friends. Bound to an indignant existence, contesting constraints of grainy shores, while washing away stubborn stones. I hear the cymbals clap with trepidation in the cool breeze of isolated coastlines. We string together gossamer wells wistfully through the tendrils of our exposed hearts. I hear the cymbals clap in the cool breeze of isolated coastlines now with a fervor unseen before. But the sea and I have an understanding. I don't feel foreign in her waters or frightened by her power. I am inspired by her magnitude. It teaches me to know my own. Okay, snap, snap, snap. Actually, let me snap with this hand. I can't snap with that one. Hey. Snap, 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 snaps. Okay. But yeah, so that's the poem that inspired this piece, Rivers Girl. So this is also in the size 18 by 24. This piece in particular, like this size is, I want to say there are 10 in this size, 5 unframed and 5 shipped framed. And like I mentioned earlier, I will be offering in the next few weeks more framing options besides the like plain black ones that I currently have available. Yeah, but I love this piece. Rivers Girl I picked that name because I'm a Rivers girl. Like that's what people call a lot of hijab women. Like if you're from Rivers State, you're like the colloquial term is, that's a Rivers girl, that type of thing. Kind of like, oh, someone from Georgia is like a Southern belle, that type of thing. And I think like I wanted to create imagery that spoke to resilience, freedom, liberation, connection to the waters, but also like connection to all that surrounds us. Like definitely, still like having my heart open to the heavens for that divine inspiration and like that divine guidance. And so if this is imagery that speaks to you on a deeper level and you're like, yes, like the story that this is saying, I hear it, I feel it, then and also if you're, in the market for artwork, then you should check this one out. So my 18 by 24, I want to say this one is, if it's shipped framed with free shipping, is $575. So yeah, like I have only 10 in this size and 50 of this print in general. So they are all, like when I say limited edition, like all seriously limited edition. And once they sell out, that's it. They'll be with their collectors. But I am having faith, and like I am praying that every piece of mine that goes to collectors, I just pray that, it will touch them in a way that they need, in a way that is like just exactly the healing that they need and the joy that they need in this crazy, crazy time that we live in. Because I just feel like there just needs to be more imagery, especially like this for Black women and African women who, I don't know what is up with it, this misogynoir that we see in the world, but like it's very much so like more potent now, and like people feel more comfortable being weird, being rude, but also, people feel comfortable showing love as well. Like I think there's like definitely that polarity that's happening. And I think where I situate my artwork in this whole cultural zeitgeist is that my artwork celebrates the intersections of sovereign expressions of divine feminine power and the experience that I have as a sovereign, decolonized African woman. Because emphasis on decolonized, like there are some of us, my sisters in Christ, who their mindsets are very, very colonial. And like, I think, that's even why the woman is naked. She's naked, like she's not wearing any of the pressures from society, like on her back. Like I feel like there's something that can be said about showing up in the world just as you are, like naked in the sense of no mask and like no pretense, and like just feeling free and not feeling weighed down by the mask that people want us to wear, and it kind of goes back to what I was saying about like just showing up as an artist. Like for me, showing up live every weekday, like knowing that, yeah, I'm building this in real time, like I'm building a community in real time, like I'm starting from scratch. And does it feel, what's the word, cringe sometimes? I don't know. I feel like I've gotten to that place where I have the courage to be like misunderstood. I have like, people cannot really like make me feel embarrassed if it's like, oh, there's 3 people in your life, or like there's like, oh, I see that thing that you're trying to do. It's like, no, I'm doing it. There is no trying. Like I'm doing it, and I'm gonna keep doing it until I build that community that I'm building, and it's like, I think it really is something that I feel empowered to do because of my artwork. Like I feel like the imagery that I've created and surrounded myself with is artwork that reminds me of my power. It reminds me to be brave. It reminds me to be true to myself. And so if you love artwork and you're looking for more like feminine work, I mean, let's be real. I am a girly girl. in the traditional sense of the word. So like I love pinks, and you know, I love anything that I can see in a garden. The color compositions of Mother Earth, like my favorite elements of Mother Earth, I put those color compositions into my artwork. So like even though I'm looking outside right now and it's mad gray and rainy and kind of like it's not super happy looking outside, I look at this and it cultivates a sense of like summer and springtime on the inside for me. I know that's like a little bit corny, a little bit cheesy, but it's true. Like I feel like the imagery that we surround ourselves with has actually, no, this is more than a feeling. I literally just saw this on, oh gosh, I think it was Artsy. One of these art platforms just put out like a post about a study that was done by like researchers in London or something. But basically, the findings of the study were showing that for a controlled group, like I can't remember like what factors they or what variables they controlled for, but basically they saw an improvement in the emotional and psychological well-being of people who spent prolonged periods of time looking at original artwork. So I'm just saying, like, even me, like in real time, I can see how my mood changes. Like once I even started hanging up my artwork in my room and like hanging it up, obviously like around me in the studio and stuff, I really saw like a difference. Like this is just so, you know, it's so happy. It makes me feel happy, like, and I want y'all to feel happy too. So if you are looking for imagery that will make you feel liberated and free and sensual and decolonized and proud of your identity as an African woman, if that is your identity, but or also, you know, if you just appreciate the beauty of Mother Earth and the resilience embedded in African culture and the diaspora as a whole, then check out my artwork. It is, so the link to my online gallery is pinned in the comments, www.AlaereLifestyle.com. Okay. So that was Rivers Girl. So quick recap. Oh, so let me see like how much time we have left. So I think I'll be on for like the next half hour, but I want to do like a quick recap of all of the artwork that we've talked about today, because I don't want to squeeze too much artwork into today. But yeah, let me like show you guys the ones that we've recently talked about. But maybe I'll show like one more. Maybe we can do one more. Actually, no, it's okay. I'll do it tomorrow because then I'd have to like move everything. But tomorrow, join me and I'm going to be talking about this large piece right here. This green one that's been behind me. Like when I usually sit and do my live painting, it's in this section of my art studio, which let me know if you guys would like a little tour. I mean, I have like my different sections in my art studio that serve different purposes, but also another quick plug before I do a recap. The jeans wearable art painted by me. I'm like trying to show you guys the full thing. Ta-da! But yeah, so these are just jeans from Abercrombie, and I really love how they turned out. I feel like what I'm doing with my wearable art collection is really like taking the color and the messages and the motifs and everything from my artwork and just like reworking what we wear into a new canvas. Like I feel that for me, why I started painting clothing is because I love being surrounded by my artwork, for sure. Like I love all of this. However, I think that there's something that can be said about the expressive element of what we choose to wear, and like what that says about our values, what that says about how we choose to move through the world. And like I think that I just really wanted to see this essence on something that I can wear. So now literally I feel like a walking piece of art. Like I always feel like that anyways, but like it's easier to feel that way when I have, you know, actual artwork. And I feel like also I love fashion, I really do, but I think I tend to gravitate towards pretty like what's the word? Classic silhouettes. So, you know, a classic tee but good material, or like a classic leather bag, but like more so I'm caring about the material and the durability. So I feel like I'm not necessarily into the whole like minimalist look, but I do know there's certain silhouettes that I like a high-waisted, good fitting denim, like, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like I'm just working with silhouettes that I already gravitate towards, canvases, so to speak, that I already like, and then putting my artwork on them. So I will be selling more pieces like this, and I will be doing commissions as well. But if you're interested, like I still need to put it on my website, but if you're interested and you're like, oh, I have an idea, and you're like, just really want to get it out there already, you can contact me by emailing team@AlaereLifestyle.com, or you can use the contact form on my website at www.AlaereLifestyle.com. Okay, so such a mouthful, but yeah, I just wanted to do a recap of all the pieces that we talked about today. So this one is She's Royal in the size 24 by 36. And if this piece really speaks to you and you love like the colors and everything, I'm trying to like get an up close so that you don't see the light reflections. But yeah, if you love this piece, and this is a representation of the size, it's kind of heavy low key, but this is 24 by 36. So this is the largest size of my limited edition prints. And the framed pieces go for $675 and the unframed for $600. And there are 5 of each in this size. So there's 5 framed and 5 unframed. And I will, like, I guess, like, let's see. Because I did mention I'm adding new framing options. So I just want to, like, give you guys, like, a proper timeline of when that is. Because right now, so far, you're going to get precisely, like, a black standard frame. But I do want to offer, like, ornate gold frames and stuff like that. And so once I figure out how to, I guess, like embed the framing options from that new supplier onto my website, I'll be able to do it. Because like I want it to be something that can be automatically fulfilled, like how I have it right now. Maybe I'm just going too deep into it, but essentially I'll be doing that. Okay. Oh, Mira says so beautiful. Thank you. Thanks, girl. So, you know, if this is something that y'all love and you're like, I need to have that, there are only 50. There are only 50. So check it out on my website. This is called She's Royal. You can also search that in the search bar. Okay. And then this was an original called We're All Stardust, inspired by my time in California. It was just so beautiful out there, like, and also while I was there, I went to this immersive exhibit of Van Gogh's paintings, so that definitely inspired some of the brushwork that I did. But yeah, here's some of the details. And this is an original. And so my originals, like I mentioned earlier, are definitely more premium prices. These are more like 4-figure, 5-figure prices. So like if I'm not going to assume what personal collectors can do, but I do know that a lot of like younger, newer collectors tend to gravitate towards my more like my smaller printed limited edition works. And so usually I just kind of like keep these for corporate collectors or like, you know, like more serious like art investors and stuff like that. But if you are interested in one of my originals at the premium prices that they are, you can email me or contact through the form at www.AlaereLifestyle.com. But my email is also team@AlaereLifestyle.com. But yeah, I would love to see this. Like, I feel like I would love to see this in an office or something. Like in a ornate gold frame. I feel like that would be cute. Okay, and so let's see. Recap. But also I think it's interesting, like in terms of art collecting, how do I put it? Okay, so like for example, someone wanted to buy this piece and he's like or he was interested, I should say. And he's like a director, like his movies are on Netflix and stuff like that. But he was very much so like, oh, if I buy this, I need to be able to sell it for more next year. And it was giving me like shareholder energy. It was giving me private equity, venture capital, like I'm buying art so the stock can raise. And I think it's not bad to buy art for that reason. However, like the art industry, billion-dollar industry, yes, but like it's not predictable. So it's not like buying a stock in Meta and then knowing that, oh, it's probably going to go up in value in this specific way in a few months. Even though there's no way to like predict the stock market, like I just feel like if you're going to collect artwork, buy it because you love it. Buy it because you love the energy of that artist. I'm not saying don't buy pieces as investments. Like if you want to buy a Picasso to keep as like an investment, for sure, have at it. But like, I mean, when it comes to buying from like emerging artists or independent artists, I feel like it can put a lot of pressure on the artist and yourself to like buy a piece that is, I don't know, $5K today and then like $20K next year. Like, just buy the work that you like. Okay, Mira says, when I am designing my future office space one day, LOL, I'm going to have to display one of your limited edition pieces in my space. Yay, thank you. I love that. Like, let me know. Just let me know when. I'm praying it happens soon and very soon. But I appreciate your support, Amira. If you know any family or friends or corporations or curators, anything, like I'm open to doing more shows and just more collaborations like on my own. I feel like I've done a lot of group shows lately, and not to be a diva, but it's not even that. It's like not even to be a diva or anything, but I just feel like I like how I do business directly. Like sometimes when you have multiple parties, ooh, it can be a lot. So I'm just like, I want to just work with like a client or a venue, like maybe even do like a pop-up art gallery show, like at a university, have my pieces on loan at a university, or like have my pieces on loan at an office. But I mean, the only but is like, I have no idea. Like the world, I don't know what's happening. Like every time I'm just like, what is happening? Like these offices, this one that they're all laying off people, like, do offices still buy artwork? Like, I don't even know. Like, so that's why I'm just like, okay, for those of you who are watching now or who will watch later when I post the replay, that's why I'm trying to make it easy. I'm trying to just make it easy. But like, this is Rivers Girl. So this is the one where it was inspired by a poem in my book, Force of Nature, which this is available on Amazon, also at my website. But yeah, Rivers Girl, this is an image of hope, liberation, resilience, divine feminine energy, all of that great stuff. But yeah, I feel like if you wanted to create a gallery wall, like I said, like all of my pieces, I feel like even if you have more of like a minimalist style, let's say you're in your white couch era, so to speak, I feel like what I love about my artwork is you can go the maximalist route. Like if you wanted to buy multiple pieces and just have everything all up on a gallery wall, or just like have all of these different pieces, and you wanted to be like a go hard type of collector of my work, you could totally do that. And I think that everything will go together seamlessly. I mean, I hang this up in my own space, and so like I know I can tell you that like I designed, especially because these, for example, are from the same collection. It's not the exact same composition, but they flow together well, and so that's by design. You can collect pieces from me to build a gallery wall, or if you want to just have like one statement piece that can be a conversation starter, or that can just invoke you, or invoke a sense of like hope and happiness and joy and sensuality, you can for sure like just go with one piece. But I think that's my favorite part of like just how I went about creating the artwork. So yeah, statement pieces, gallery wall, it serves all the needs. Okay, Amira says, of course one day maybe you can do a show in PBD. You know we love art over here. Wait, Providence? Are you in Providence? Wait, because I am down. Like, I would love to. That's why I'm like, I feel like the ways that we can go about it. I've been telling people on my live, like, if you see a venue, a coffee shop, a restaurant, a hotel, anything, and you're like, oh my God, like, oh, Demi's art would look so beautiful here, you could be an ambassador for me. You can ask them, do you do art shows? There's an artist that I love. She should get her art in here. But yeah, like, I would love to do an art show in Providence. Okay, so back to the recap. One of my favorite original pieces, Timoshi, just showing African love and just showing like, I don't know. I mean, I've talked about this earlier in the live, but I feel like, let me move back so y'all, this is large. Like I'm telling y'all, like my originals are pretty large, and that's why they are priced how they are. Like this took me some time. I'm not gonna lie, like it took me some time because I didn't realize like I wanted to make it something that was like more 3D. So like as you can see, the flowers are not painted on. I like glued this garden, and also it kind of makes me think of Bridgerton. But low-key, like dating and marriage in at least Nigerian culture, it can be very like Bridgerton-esque in the sense that, yes, you have moms and aunties who all want you to get married. And then there's that intense code of chastity. So yes, we do have some things in common. But no, like I think like just the opulence, the energy of like opulence and just romance and gravitas, like it's just something that I think is very beautiful. And I love, like, there's just nothing like a Nigerian wedding. There really isn't. So I wanted to depict that. Like, I just don't really see artwork that depicts my culture in that way. Also, I think it's so cool that, like, this looks like it's on top of my head. But, like, yeah, I feel like a lot of African woman depictions in art is all the same thing. It's always like, I mean, even this one, like, yeah, like I went with like a more traditional motif, like, you know, the carrying water on your head, but I did put like rhinestones on it, and there's like a double meaning, and that this piece was also kind of like inspired by certain stories in the Bible. Like there's a whole thing there. But like I feel like, yeah, like I don't want to only just see African women in art defined as like, you know, the ones I'm talking about, where it will show like an abstract African woman, exaggerated hips, big breasts, like that kind of thing. I just get so bored. I get like, let's see. If I were to type in African woman art on Google, like I'm curious what would pop up. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm not like missing anything in the chat. But like I'm telling y'all, a lot of artwork is just filtered through the male gaze. And even as someone, like when I do art shows, it's like majority guys a lot of times. So I just feel like showing my idea of love and intimacy and passion and romance, I think that's resistance. Like I'm a lover girl, and I'm also African, so I feel like I deserve to make artwork that I can see myself in, I can see my dreams in, my culture in, and that other people can see that too. Like I remember there was an art show that I had this in, and one of the women who was admiring it, I was just, you know, asking people, like when I would see them linger, like, oh, you know, why do you like this painting, essentially, or like what about this painting is resonating with you. And like for a lot of people, well, one woman in particular said she liked like the regal representation. She's Black American, and so like I'm saying her identity because I feel like even though my artwork is modern African artwork, like I think that it also speaks to people across the diaspora, and it can speak to Black people in America, Black people on the continent, Black people in the Caribbean, in Europe. Like I think there's a universal ethos that I embed. But she was just saying that like she doesn't see like representations of this often, like the, like, you know, the dress and the jewels and the flowers. Like she was just like, she loves seeing that, you know. And like I agree, you know, I feel like there needs to be more positive representations of Black people in love. And I think like for African people, we're not like, I don't even know, let me just say Nigerians. I think there's a lot of emphasis on the marriage industry and the marriage, like, yes, industry is the marriage industry, because people be getting married for all types of reasons, and I don't think love always factors in. I'm telling you, it's like Bridgerton, like her wanting a love match was a big deal, and like I feel like to an extent a lot of women, this is a different conversation though, but do get married out of like needs for financial protection, or like needs to be able to have access to certain things that they can only have access to in a patriarchal society if they have a husband. Like in Nigeria, it was literally up until recently that married women had to get permission to be able to get a visa to leave the country. So that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like having these depictions of love and passion and romance, like I think it's like an intentional visual subconscious rewiring for me as I create it, but also for people as they see it and interact with the artwork to like be reminded of the love that we can create in our lives and in our communities. Okay, so what was I doing? I was going to show you guys African women art on Google. Okay, I'm about to show you guys. It's like the same depictions all the time. Okay. Let's see. Remember what I said, like big exaggerated hips and, you know, the scarf and all of that stuff. Literally, and some of this is AI art, so I'm not even really seeing like a lot of original art. But it's literally always the like half naked, like it's the same symbolism all the time. And I'm not saying that I will never, like, hello. I put that symbolism, but I also like put depictions of African women from like a decolonized feminine perspective. Like I feel like a lot of the imagery that I just showed y'all, a lot of it was giving me a man made this. Like I don't know how else to explain it, but it's like it was giving me male gaze because women are only seen in a patriarchal society in like a very limited view when we filter ourselves through the male gaze, and like it's usually in relation to our ability to labor, do domestic labor, carry things on top of our head, carry baby, like that kind of thing, or our sexual prowess. Like it's usually those two false dichotomies that like women are placed in. And I think that that's why my artwork is, it offers a different perspective, if you ask me, in the modern African art discourse canon, whatever you will call it. And I think like it's playful and it centers feminine pleasure for the sake of our pleasure, and not necessarily like depicts us in a way that is supposed to be consumed. I feel like my artwork depicts us in a way where it's meant to be celebrated and then also to mirror back your own strength. Like it's supposed to be something you look at this and it makes you want to like hold your head up high, you know? Like I hope that makes sense. Okay, let me check into the chat. Okay. Alrighty. So yeah, let me see. There was another piece I wanted to show. Oh yes, okay. I think this is the last one that I showed today. So like I said, I had these pieces originally, like they included the mat and then my signature on the mat, but I changed the print. So this no longer, like this exact version no longer exists, but what it now is the abstract artwork fills the entire frame. And if you want to add a mat, that is of your own volition, but it will not come with the like border anymore. But this one is called Desire. I love like my more abstract pieces because this came from this came from a collection called Elements. Also, hold on, let me change the music. Also, if you're enjoying this, be sure to like the live, be sure to like the video, and to subscribe. I am stepping out of my comfort zone a little bit today and directly selling my artwork, which used to feel like, I don't know, it used to make me feel a little uncomfortable doing that online. I used to feel like, oh no, I have to wait till I'm, you know, in a show. Like, I don't want to be like those companies always selling. If I don't sell, who will sell for me? If I don't talk about the products that I make or the artwork that I make, like, I can't just, you know, wait for it to be discovered. I'm taking a more active role. Okay, this is me taking a more active role, and yeah, just being more upfront about the fact that I do want my pieces to go to collectors. Like, that is the point, you know? I make my art for my joy, but also, let me paint a picture for you. You know, if you'll allow me. Also, wait, hold on, let me see. I see something in the chat. Oh no! Let me change my selfie light. It's so funny. Literally, like I always say this, that it always goes out right when it's around time for me to log off. That is so funny. But okay, so Amir says, you said something that made me curious. Oh wait, hold on, let me see. Okay. Okay, so you said something that made me curious. What is the experience like for you when you're hearing others' perspectives on your artwork when showing pieces in a gallery? Oh, yeah, okay, so great question. Thank you for asking. So I think, like, I really enjoy the experience because when I, like, put my pieces in a show and I get to actually, like, see in real time people go up, pause, linger, like talk about a piece. Like I'm watching all of this from afar, and so to me, it's like more natural and it's like less manufactured than people interacting with your artwork online. Because, like, let's say someone sees your artwork on Instagram and they put a comment and then like maybe it gets more likes. That's usually what will signal to more people to look at it. But I think like in an art gallery setting, I get to see people gravitate towards what they genuinely like, irrespective of like an algorithmic push or type of like external manipulation. So with that being said, I think it makes me like appreciate those interactions more deeply. And like, yeah, as someone that exists in the e-commerce space, it's like also refreshing because, you know, I have mentioned a few times on here that I'm working towards opening a physical gallery and boutique where I can sell my artwork and my fashion designs and like my wearable art and all of that, and like have actual shows and programming, live music, live poetry, all of that stuff. Hi, Mama. And so I feel like, you know, there's just nothing that trumps seeing how people interact with your artwork in person. And like, even like for a piece, you know, like this one right here, I remember when this was in a show, it was so popular. Like, I was just like observing, and that's why I had to start asking people. I was like, hold on, why do you like this? Like, what did I do so I can keep doing it again? And like, for some people, they loved the flowers. And it was also like one of those things where I think like certain elements that I can be a bit initially, what's the word, hesitant about. Like, I used to feel like my artwork was too girly or too, you know, like it's very womanish, girly-ish. Like, I don't know how else to say that. Like, I know it's heteronormative, but like in the traditional sense or like the stereotypical sense of the word, like pink and certain hues are associated with the feminine. And I think that in any male-dominated space, anything that is associated with the feminine is also viewed and sometimes like subconsciously perceived as less than or second tier or weak for whatever reason. Like, a different tangent, but like that creeps into the art world sometimes. And so I think like it's affirming for me, like when I have my artwork in a space where there's, you know, all this serious dark artwork, and like then there's me like painting flowers and the sunrise and all of that stuff. And I just feel like it's affirming for me as an artist, but it's also affirming for me as like somebody who is very bubbly and optimistic, to like see people, you know, like engage with that expression of joy and that expression of love and romance and all of that. And it just reminds me that there is space for that in the world. And like, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. I'm not the weird one out. Like, there are people who still see beauty in color and who still like appreciate vibrance. So that's the experience. Like, I think like I just really love it. Like, I love doing shows. I love talking to people. And so I want to do more. I think like this year, what shows did I do this year? I think I only did one show this year. Like last year, I was doing a lot. Last year, I think I did like 4 or 5. But I'm glad I kind of had to slow down a little bit and rethink about where I want to show my work, who I want to show my work with, the area. Like, there's just so much that goes into it energetically, I think. Like, being very careful about who you decide to work with, like just in general in business, but also like as an artist, because it can be a very exploitative industry. Like selling artwork, there are so many people who will be like, oh yeah, I want to sell your artwork, I want to do this, I want to showcase, and they're just thinking about how they can make money from you. I'm about to put some of these people on blast, not by name, but by experience, and say like, I've done shows with studios, galleries, or whatever here in Atlanta who they're selling tickets for the show. Let's say $20, $25, $30, because it's also like a wine tasting type of thing. Usually, the artists don't see any cut of that. And it's like, but the whole event is centered around the artwork, but then the artists are not like seeing a cut of that, of the ticket sales, or like, and then also we're expected to give like 50% of our commission. And so there's like just a lot of things that abound in the traditional art world that I think I'm bypassing and, you know, scooching around a little bit by doing what I'm doing with my company, which is selling directly to collectors and customers, like cutting out that middleman, and then also not making myself a target, an easy target for exploitation, because I mean, I think that's what it is. Like if people can like profit off of being able to sell exposure to your work, but you don't really get to see the money. It's kind of like the music industry. Like we see the same paradigm with like music labels and stuff like that, where oftentimes artists will never see the money, but the labels are making money. They're making money. So I think, you know, yeah, like I'm just really happy that I, moving forward, will be able to create my own shows, curate my own shows. Like I have so much artwork that I want to show y'all, but you know, I'm glad that y'all were able to just see, even if it's just a snippet of the pieces that I have in my studio. So yeah, I have like other pieces as well, but this is the last one, Desire, that I was talking about before I went on that like little tangent. You know, I like to like stay up to date with what's happening, you know, in my industry, and there's a lot of interesting trends, a lot of paradigms that are shifting, but also things that I think a lot of people wouldn't know is happening, or that artists have to experience, like if I weren't upfront about this and, you know, sharing my experience in real time. But yeah, so this is from my Elements collection, and it's called Desire. And I think this whole collection, I have other pieces I'll show from it. This whole collection was supposed to lean into abstraction more fully. I worked with alcohol inks. Everything was super intuitive, less like formulaic than my more figurative pieces. And I think I felt a sense of freedom in that, and it made me feel more connected to Mother Earth. Like I wanted it to kind of mimic creation, like natural creation, when things form at the cellular level. Like, what does that creation look like? And so that's how I came about with these pieces, which were, you know, these intuitive, abstract expressionist works that I couldn't have planned this. I can't remake this. And I think I like that. Like, I like that energy. And so just a tidbit of info, you can expect to see this artwork on clothing very soon. Yes, this will be on clothing. Like, that's all I can say at this moment. But yeah, like more wearable art to come for sure. Like obviously the hand painted pieces are still going to be a thing, but having like my actual artwork on the fabric in new ways. Like I already have that with my leather hobo bags, which are for sale on my website. But I think like in more breathable apparel and like, I don't know, I just think it's gonna be really cool to experience this like type of abstract work in that sense. And so yeah, like I think for me, I really just wanted to show also that African artwork can be abstract. Like I can also center my experience as a woman, as an African woman, as a Nigerian American woman. Like I can think about my own unique culture and like cultural experiences and cultural upbringing, and I can also put that in abstract artwork. It doesn't always have to be like in a language, a visual language that is easily digestible or easily understood. And so I think like that's really all I can really say about the pieces from the Elements collection. Really, like they had a sense of rebellion to the like, you know, formulaic pressures of like being easily digestible, you know, in the art space. And I mean, especially in the African art space, I think, you know, there is a growing appreciation for abstract and like modern artwork in African art collector spaces and African diaspora like collector spaces. But you know, slowly but surely is building. And I'm happy to have my voice be in that conversation. So yeah, I feel like we went through quite a few pieces. I have more pieces I'll be talking about tomorrow. Yeah, like last but not least, once more, I want to show you guys the jeans that I painted. And I will be sharing more of my wearable artwork. I actually have another bag that I painted as well. I've shown this, but yeah, this is a hand painted Kate Spade bag, and it's so interesting like wearing it together. It honestly feels so cool, like because I feel like I mentioned earlier, I gravitate towards classic silhouettes in my wardrobe, but I love things that stand out. So if I'm gonna wear like all black, I need to have a statement bag, or if I'm going to wear like one color, I need to have like a bright mustard trench coat or something. And so I don't know, I feel like fashion increasingly dull and like subdued and muted, and I am not that type of person. So I think that like this is like it would definitely like stand out, you know. And I like that I can wear this outfit in the winter, but I can also wear it in the spring. I mean, I would wear this like with a different top in the summer. So like, I don't know, I just feel like art is timeless, and that's pretty cool. I like that. So yeah, I feel like a walking canvas. But yeah, I think, you know, as I create more of the wearable art, it'll be really fun to just share that with y'all. And I think I'm gonna go to the store and get some actual pieces that I can sell, so that y'all don't have to wait only for the commissions. Because I mentioned this in a past video that I think the type of people who go for commissioned work are very different from the types of people who just want, oh, I've seen it, ready to wear, let me just buy it off rip. And so I do want to appeal to the latter, and I want to like do an actual, what's it called, lookbook again with my pieces. So that's why I'm like, okay, let me get some pieces that I can actually sell, like that y'all can actually buy. So yeah, but the commissions, I will be launching those as well, launching the Alaere Manifesto magazine. And what else? Oh yes, also in the description, I've placed my company's Cash App. So if you are not currently able to purchase an original artwork from my limited edition pieces, or you know, any of my paintings, but you still want to show support in my artist and entrepreneurial journey, you can send money to the Alaere Lifestyle Cash App. That's our name on Cash App, and every dollar you send will let you be able to get a small print of an original piece I'll be creating. And any gifts of $20 or more will enter you into a raffle to win an original piece that's about, yeah, like about this size. So that will be very fun. The dates on that are TBD essentially. But yeah, I'm really happy. Like, I'm gonna keep going live every weekday. I'm gonna keep showing up, keep sharing my journey, because at the end of the day, even if it's just one person that God needed me to like show up for, that's fine with me. That's fine with me. That's fine with me. Period. Like, I feel like I'm also what I needed to see when I was younger, and so that alone gives me joy. But yeah, I'm trying to see if there's anything else. I mean, I do have some pieces in the works back here to be finished. Like, I have not even touched some of these pieces in a few months, and so yeah, that and the guitar and everything. But I feel like today was really fun, and I will chat with y'all tomorrow. So I think tomorrow, do I want to do live painting or do I want to talk about the artwork? Maybe we might do both. But before I close out, I just want to also remind y'all to check out my book, Force of Nature by Odemi Pasu. And I am going to share a snippet to, send y'all a farewell and bid thee adieu. So this is from my author's note on page 17. And I say, I hope you find the courage to be open to love and its pitfalls, and to be open to learning from the stories of your elders, and even those who view the world through rosy lenses of youth. I pray you look in the mirror after reading this book and recognize yourself for who you truly are. May your love for yourself blossom like sunflowers in a wild field, for they too look to the light for strength. And one last thing, may you never forget the immense force of nature you are. With love and light, Odemi E. Pasu. Okay, so that's my book. Let me just pop a squat. Writings and artist says hello. Man, you're joining in right as I'm about to hop off the live, but I will be posting the replay, so stick around. I hope that you decide to subscribe to the channel. But yeah, let me go ahead and put the link to buy my book. You know what? I'm actually thinking I might put the link from my website. I always put the Amazon link, but I don't know. I feel like people are gonna start boycotting Amazon soon. But that's none of my business. So let me just put like where you can buy it directly from me. Okay, so yeah. But yeah, this is my book, Force of Nature. And yeah, I'm so happy to have had y'all here. Sending y'all so much love and light. Bye. See you tomorrow.